Hi, I'm Ron Hutchins, and the reason you're watching this video is you scan the QR code in the Harpswell Anchor, and that means that either you want to learn a little bit more about me, or you're interested in selling your house, or hopefully both. So back in 1959, my mom and dad bought the Land's End gift shop from my great-grandfather, Percy Allen. And that included not only the gift shop, but the Jaquash Inn and Cabins. And several years later, the house up on the hill was purchased, and that was where I grew up. I've been here since 1963. I was about 7 months old when my parents brought me here. Here's a picture of my brother and I standing in front of our house. And it's in front of my dad's real estate sign, which is actually hanging right here in our office. So real estate runs pretty deep. Back in 1959, when they bought the Jaquash Inn, a fellow from the Lewiston, Auburn area had made this diorama for my parents, and here it is on display in the Jaquash Inn. A story I didn't know until just a few months ago is my mom couldn't swim. But, here's my brother and I looking at Del Richardson's skiff. This is in the late 1960s, and there's a tuna fish in the boat. And the story is that my mom and Del went out to the other side of Jaquash Island, between there and Halfway Rock Lighthouse, and caught this tuna. And my mom couldn't even swim. So, having grown up here, I attended the local schools. Here's my 4th grade class picture. Some of these people are still around the islands today. So back in those years of the 4th grade and going to school, I wasn't a very good student. But what I did love was story time, reading, and recess. And I had quite an imagination. Now, probably not politically correct today, but back in the day we used to play cowboys and Indians in the woods. I loved to pretend I was Daniel Boone. I had a fringe jacket with all the fringe on it and a coonskin cap. It was a lot of fun growing up here on the island. We'd spend our summers hanging around the cove, in and out of boats, swimming all day. High school came along, and I was very fortunate to have a couple of teachers, a history teacher that taught history via stories, and I also had a social studies teacher that allowed us to tell the story of how more current events were changing history. And I think it's because of those it's really helped me with my real estate. I attended college in Rhode Island at Johnson & Wales University. I majored in culinary arts and minored in psychology. My interest in psychology was really to learn why people behave the way they do, and are there things that I can do to help possibly even alter those behaviors, or at least better understand them. So after college and spending time out west in restaurants, and I was fortunate enough to work for a really good restaurant where we won 3 Silver Spoon Awards from Gourmet Magazine, and 3 years in a row we were one of the best restaurants in Park City. And then it was time to come home, and I fell in love, married a girl from Orr's Island, and we've had two beautiful daughters. I spent about 20 years in the automobile business, and that's where I really learned about sales. I moved my way up to being the executive manager of 9 dealerships. I had about 400 employees, and I trained hundreds of salespeople. All right, let's take a moment and talk sales philosophy. I really believe in value selling, and in order to do a really good job in building value in your home, I need to know as much as I possibly can. Knowing how the home was constructed, special features that are custom to the home, those are all great things to point out. You know, one example might be is homes that were built, before the 70s were mostly 2x4 construction. In the 60s and 70s, every now and then you come across a home that really was 2x6 construction. Lumber back then in those days was dimensional lumber. A 2x4 was really 2x4. It wasn't, 1 3/4 by 3 1/2. And that was old growth lumber, so it is much denser and stronger than the new hybrid lumber that's harvested today. I mean, it's all genetically designed to grow faster so that they can harvest it quicker, and it's not as dense as the older homes. So these are all features that we can talk about to the potential buyer to build value in your home. And then, just like when I was back in school and story time, I try to learn as much as I can about the neighborhood. And that way I can not only sell your home and what's around the boundaries of your home, I can sell everything in the area. Try to tell a story, paint a picture, again, building value, making people really want to be in that area and buy your home, and hopefully pay a little bit extra for it. The marketing materials that we use on site, we produce a magazine for your home, so it looks like it could be on the cover of like Coastal Living, Main Home and Design, those types of covers. So we're building value in the house, trying to bring up the emotions of the buyer. I'm sure you're interested in what's going on right now. As far as the number of buyers in the market right now, real estate is hyper-local. And what I mean by that is that, what's happening in the nation may not be happening here in Maine, and it certainly isn't. When you see the news and you basically are given the impression that the real estate market is dead and inventories are growing, that is true in certain pocket areas, but it's not true here along the coast of Maine. As a matter of fact, I think in Harpswell this morning there was only 4 residential listings. In Bath, again, there was 4 residential listings. I think in Boothbay there was 7. Really nothing to speak of for Georgetown or Phippsburg. So when you put your house on the market, it's going to get attention. We have a multi-function marketing plan that we use. It really gets you the best exposure. Many of you may have heard about interest rates and where are they headed. Given that there's going to be a little bit of lag between this video and when it actually hits the newspaper, right now we're experiencing some bank failures around the country, and what that is actually causing the Fed to do is probably to stop raising interest rates, because that is one of the factors that's getting some of these banks into trouble. And with that, that's going to give buyers a little bit of a reprieve. They're going to be able to find, home mortgages somewhere in the low 6s. And it's also a great time to sell, because you're going to have that window of opportunity here where a buyer is going to be able to secure that better interest rate and get your house done. I think the other side of that, months down the road from now, when we get through this little bit of a crisis, rates are going to go even higher, which means buyers are going to have, if they're a finance buyer, they're going to have less buying power. And that's going to cause you to not be able to get as much out of your house, because, if someone can only afford a mortgage of $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, and you want to get $8, $9, or $1 million out of your house, they're not going to have the buying power to do that. So now is a really good time to consider selling, along with the fact that it's going to be spring market, and people are starting to really stir. As far as sellers' concerns right now, I think the obvious one is, what's my house worth? And then beyond that comes a lot of the little things. How are you planning on marketing it? What do we need to do to get the house ready? How much time does that take? And those are all things that we can answer for you when we sit down. If you want to sell your house and you tell us yes, within a couple of weeks we could actually have it on the market, depending on how much prep work needs to be done, if the house needs to be staged, those types of things. Some sellers are concerned with, what happens after I sell my house? What am I going to be doing? And a lot of those times it really depends on the scenario. Is the seller, are you selling a second home and you don't need to replace it? Or are you selling your primary home and relocating, you need to find something else? Being the seller's market, we have the opportunity to dictate most of the terms in the agreement, which means we could arrange for you to have occupancy after the closing. As a matter of fact, the last 6 transactions that I did, they had some element of possession after closing. And it was anywhere from 30 days to the most was 90 days. The great thing about that is, like one of the ladies, we sold her house, we closed early, she had 90 days to move out. It allowed her to go down to the Carolinas and actually make a cash offer on the new house because, we were able to close, she had her money in hand and was able to make a very competitive cash offer elsewhere. So it really does depend on your situation, but we have folks that can help you either relocate through our Keller Williams network. We have folks locally, we can help you with moving, finding storage, getting occupancy or whatever, or help you find that replacement home if you're just moving up in size or moving down. The process of selling a home generally starts with the seller, looking around to see what other homes are worth. It depends on, again, their scenario. Or, is it someone that's looking to relocate? Are they going to buy a bigger house, smaller house? Is it an estate sale? But regardless of what the situation is, it always starts with exploring to see what other homes are worth, or if you're going to another area, what's available in that area. We have the ability to help people from that very early process right through beyond the close, helping with movers, the relocation, scheduling things. It really doesn't matter whatever it is. If you're selling your house and it needs the interior paint, we have people that can do that. We have the ability to help you improve the return on your investment, whether it's as simple deep cleaning, staging, maybe replacing that kitchen countertop with a nice piece of granite. Whatever it is, we have the ability to help you get your house ready and to make sure that you're going to get the best return on your investment. So as we wrap this up, many people are going to say, well, why should I choose you? This video isn't very professionally done, and I'm certainly no actor, but all I can ask for is the opportunity to sit with you and have a conversation. The reason to use us is that we can sell your house quicker, we can get you more money for your house, and we can do it without any hassles. And we've got perfect examples of that. Looking at the last 5 or 6 sales, we ended up with 111% of the list price. We sold it in 5.5 days as compared to Harpswell median of 20 days. And we were able to do all those transactions, basically by the seller's terms and without any hassle. And they all closed smoothly. All right, so I rambled on enough. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope to hear from you so that we can at least sit down, give us the opportunity to have a conversation. If it means us competing against another broker, we look forward to the opportunity. In the end, we know that we can sell your house for more money, and we can do it quicker, and we can do it without any hassle. So hope to hear from you.